I just pray that one day we go to the polls and we vote on ideology, policies, programs, instead of look at colors.
2016, you polled at 1,597 votes to Mr. McKenzie's over 9,000, and in 2020, the COVID election, you polled 956 to Mr. McKenzie's 8,382. So I want to ask you then, how do you approach an election in what is considered a JLP, well, what is a JLP stronghold, knowing that you're up against the odds in terms of unseating the sitting member of parliament?
You have to be driven by faith. You have to be driven by faith and perseverance. In life, you must look at challenge and face it. You must never say, it cannot. You know, just like the last letters in the Jamaican, I can. So you must always have that belief, that inner strength. And if you have the faith, there's always a way, if you believe.
But it's been 5 times. It's five, by your count, you said 2002, 2007, then 16, then 2020. That's correct, right? And then now 2025. So 4 times or 4 now. You're fifth time. You're from the area. You keep coming back. You have the faith. But how do you canvass? Do you go house to house, or are you just depending on the pockets of PNP's support?
You go house to house on your side. And then there are areas in the JLP side where you just, the pockets. Because you don't go into hostile territory, because 2 things. It can create a backlash. And if a violence break out, you go in years because you did come around there and you created it. So if you avoid that kind of political tension, you just deal with it as pockets. If they don't see you, they're not going to vote. The member of parliament is a member of parliament for the whole entire constituency. But what amazes you at times is that the same problem that you suffer from around here is the same thing them suffer from around here. But some of the time is to find a message how does you break that cultural barrier? That a community see itself as one color, and no matter how hard the thing gets, it remains within that one color. So it's not something that you can just draw off a message, put it on paper, and say this is the message. Because when you go one side of the community, they are independent. That means they are self-driven. Probably their concern is about the sewer water that is running. If you say to them, what about the violence? They will say to you, boy, we're born and growing night, we live in night. That don't affect them. So when that will be a major concern to, like me, like you, it will be a major concern to them.
But are you disappointed after each last meeting, the margin then? Because I think going in, you're probably thinking, okay, Desmond is going to win again. But are you disappointed?
No, you never, because first you have to understand people. And this is why I said, probably I am not the one who will change the landscape in West Kingston for the PNP. But probably I might be the one who create that roadmap for the person that is coming. Because when you compile all of your research, all of what, probably out of that you can get that message that you are looking for to break that cultural barrier. It's not policy. It's just like you meet a young youth and them say, you know, you sound good, I like your ideas, but remember, my barn comes to my grandfather, my grandmother, my mother, all of my family are there.
So that is it.
So you have that barrier. Even though some of the time you will say, why you're going to Orangeville, which is a PNP stronghold, you go and vote overwhelming PNP. But at the same time, you have comrades on your side who spirit are already broke. Why people go vote it now make a difference? So why vote? So you have that to deal with. How you motivate your own and how you try to change that cultural barrier on the other side.
Which part of the constituency are you from?
West Street.
West Street. So you're one of those people who born come see your parents as PNP?
No, I wasn't driven by the parents.
Okay.
I was driven by the ideology of Michael Manley. I wasn't interested within the political arena at that time.
Okay. Until we come back.
So that brought me to the PNP and brought me committed to the PNP. Because as the song will say, if you could roll back the curtain and show you where you're coming from and where you would have been, but there was someone that saved you, that you are where you are today. Because enough children don't understand the bastard act. Take a lot of Jamaican students out of school. You couldn't enter in a traditional school because you never. So that gave real meaning. That gave real meaning. So I wasn't driven by the idea that you came up in a PNP home, and because they came up in a PNP home, you must be a PNP. It must be a sense of purpose. You know, it's like you look at a party that called itself the Jamaica Labour Party, but I can't recall one piece of labor legislation that this party has ever put in place to protect workers or give workers rights. In an environment where technology is at the tip of everybody's fingers, we should be more educated around what is what. But you know, people spend more time on social media, but them spend it on the wrong things. But if you're making money, it don't really matter. And this is one of the culture that we are up against, and is a culture that even though you're making money, it can destroy a country. Because if I am eating, I don't matter with the man that is hungry. It's not my concern, because I am eating. And that is what you have happening today. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things, and I just pray that one day we can find a way. When the PNP can walk to Valley without fear or favor. And if there is a garrison for the PNP, the GLP can walk it without fear or favor. A day when we go to the polls and we vote on ideology, policies, programs, instead of look at colors.
My final question, what are your realistic expectations? What would be a win for you?
What will be a win?
Mm-hmm.
What will be a win is to win the constituency.
Okay. And say that is off the table. What would you consider?
I don't put it off the table.
You don't put it off the table?
No, I don't put it off the table until
the night of the election.
When the votes are count. And the expectation after the vote is count, it don't really matter. You just accept what the outcome is. The people are spoken, you just have to accept the will of the people. Because we will always say the voice of the people is the voice of God. So when the people spoke, you can't vex, you have to be pleased.